Hey, it's Steel doing a demo review for NetcodeGuides. Today I've got Rogal. He is playing CT side of Inferno, and he is playing in matchmaking. So Rogal, I watched through this demo, and one thing that I really wanted to point out is your use of the grenades. While you know like really nice pop, counter flashes and pop flashes, you rely on grenades way too much throughout the entire city side. So I'll point out specifically where you use them and rely on them too much, and how you can kind of use them differently. So we're playing matchmaking, so there's 2 minutes on the clock at all times. Here, your teammates made contact and they pre-smoked right away. You've already used one flash. You're waiting here. You're grenading. You know the enemy's with it. Just there. That's okay. Minute 30 left on the clock, and you're re-smoking. So now, the problem with this is that while it is good to smoke this off, you know the enemies were there, and your teammates really haven't made contact anywhere else on the map, so there's a large likelihood that the enemies are still here. There's a minute and 30 left on the clock, and by the time the smoke is gone, there'll be a minute 10, which means that you have over a minute to work with, basically, and you've already used your entire nade set. And this isn't the first time it happens. In this game, it happens quite regularly. So here you set up your counter flash and your teammate's taking first contact, which he's not actually taking first contact. If you look at where he is positioned on X-ray, an enemy could have walked out and actually shot you in the head there because your teammate wasn't actually peeking. So you got to make sure that your teammate's actually taking first contact if you're going to take that angle. Usually I'll just keep my gun out, and in case that the enemy does walk through, the enemy, if they're not walking in, they'll be making footsteps, they'll throw smokes and flashes, so you don't need to hold your flash out in that situation. You can just keep your gun out and wait for someone to walk in, and if they don't walk in, they're throwing smokes or flashes or running, that's when you can pull out your flash and throw it against the wall. So here we're going into the next round. Again, you're just lining it up. If we look at your teammate though, he's also got a flash out. He's not really, now he's peeking, but he wasn't before. And he does this a lot. He plays this angle a lot where he's just hiding in oranges. And if that's the case, then an enemy could just like walk in and actually just kill you. Another thing that you do is you're just peeking out for way too long with a nade in your hands. Like, you peeked out to throw a grenade at banana, and then what happened from there? Well, he peeked you and almost killed you because you're just standing there like this. You know, you need to be careful with your nades and only throw them when you're behind cover. Now, they smoke off CT spawn, and what you do is you do a pop flash to push yourself through the smoke, but it's a good play, but you do it too soon. If they smoke this off, you have to think about where they're going to be. Most likely they throw it from down here, or they throw it from up here. Whichever the case may be, they need the smoke to actually bloom, and then they need to throw the flashes in, and then they start moving up with the flashes. If you throw this flash and burst in too soon, then they might just be at this point here, or not even up that far. They could be back here and just waiting to kill you. So that's something that you have to really be careful about, that you don't do it too early. Again, you pop and go. After the first one, you're out of flashes, but you do have your smoke, so you're going to re-smoke just here in a second. And this is good. You know that the enemy's pressured there. Your teammates are like peeking down top mid already. So that's okay to use your smoke at that time. It's a little bit later in the round. It's an extra 20 seconds on top of the last time. So here you get a gun. Let's fast forward to the following rounds. You keep going back to B. You keep doing like the same basic thing. So you set up your flash, and we look at your teammate. He's just got to smoke out. If an enemy were to walk in, you guys are just dead. So that's one thing to be wary about. Okay, so your teammate dies. You do a pop flash. Again, that flash is only going to get people if they're like actually pushing in. As we saw here, you did the flash, you pushed in, you saw nobody because they're still behind the wall. Here you got a nice kill, but enemy's already in water. He sucks. You got a nice 180. We can see that your aim is pretty good. Your reaction time is pretty good. So you don't need to work on that as much as you need to work on other things. Grenade management, knowing when and where to flash is important. I think that's like one of the main things that you're gonna have to work on. I like here, again, you're pop flashing yourself out of sticky situations. You don't want to just re-peek. So that was a good play when you counter flash yourself when you're in the cubby there. And this is a good play, just getting over to B. You know the enemies can come B. But again, you're dumping everything so soon when the enemies haven't even made contact. Here, this is okay. You're smoking 20 seconds left, or 40 seconds left. There will be 20 seconds. But again, he could just walk in and he can do anything he wants. I just hang on to it and play a spot in the site and play on contact, where you save that smoke for when you actually see him or he's making footsteps. Otherwise, you can save it if he goes to A, kills your teammates, and you can clutch it. So I think you're just like throwing everything, and you're not really thinking about why you're throwing it. You're just throwing it there and not really counting the time on the clock. Here again, there's like one enemy at the bottom of a banana, and you've thrown your smoke, and it's not really needed. Now, you know, there's over a minute and a half left, and you've already thrown your smoke. All you have is 2 flashes left. No noise is made. You throw another flash. Over a minute left. You have 1 minute to hold the site. You do get an ace this round. A minute left on the clock. That was a good timing flash. That caught 2 people off guard. But now you've got nothing to hold the site with. You've got nothing. So what do? You push around, and on a 3-on-3, you push around the corner. Not the smartest plays. If you die there and, you know, there's 2 enemies there waiting for you, they kill you, they get the bomb site, they get the bomb plant. If this guy doesn't have the bomb and his teammates have the bomb instead, then they go up in A and win the round. So because this guy's in a bad position and he's by himself and he's got the bomb, you guys accidentally win this round. Also, that timing flash was really lucky that you got on them. You didn't do it because you heard them. You didn't do it because you knew they were there. You did it to clear for information, and you ended up getting 2 kills. If they're a second slower and they're behind the wall still before you throw that flash, you have no nades, no grenades, no smokes, no flashes, no molotovs, and over a minute left on the clock to hold the bomb site, and you don't have those 2 initial kills. So just because they played it poorly and both peeked and got flashed and weren't able to navigate away doesn't mean that it was a good play. It means you got lucky. Once you got the bomb down though, I mean, you basically won the round from here, but you're still splitting up from your teammate. Your teammate's just in the back of the site watching City spawn, and you're pretty aggressive up here where the enemy could get the trade, get the bomb, and possibly even win the round. So even though you aced, there are things that you can work on in terms of grenade management, in terms of playing with more with your team in that situation, and also the fact that you pushed around to clear B and you had no smokes left and you're solo at B. That's one thing that you need to be careful of. If you're solo in an area, it's risky for you to push, because if you die, you just lose the round for your team. And while it paid off there, it's not a good mindset to say, well, I got the kill, so it's a good play. You have to think about it over a larger sample size. So if you do that play, you know, 10 times or 20 times or 100 times, how many times does that work for you? It worked in this one time, but we've only seen you do it once. If you do it 100 times, how many times will it work? Well, maybe it only works 20 of those 100 times. That's a 20% success rate. That's not really good. That's not a good amount of success. So that's, over time, not a good play to make. And that's something that you have to understand about CS, is that sometimes good plays don't work and sometimes bad plays do work. And it's not good to think about it with such a small sample size. So here you went for your counter flash, and the enemy was able to kill you. I think there's a different flash that you can do, which will actually not be as obvious to enemies, because that one, that you throw goes pretty far across the screen, and it gives them a little bit of time to react. So I'll go into a server after and show you a flash that you could do. That's pretty much the same, but explodes differently. I'll show you where you want to actually have your flash go. So here, you're on eco round, you get a grenade, and you run out to nade, but again, you're not grenading from behind cover. So it's something that I've seen you do in a few of these rounds already, where you're just peeking out to throw a grenade. Use the physics in this game. You know that grenades can bounce off of walls into where you want the grenade to go, so use that to your advantage, and stay behind cover when you throw your grenades. So here you're rotating, and your teammates see them up mid. You still get into the bomb site safely somehow. I would have, when I was coming up here, thrown a flash into porch side middle, because your teammates were fighting the entire time. Your teammates were over here fighting to mid. The enemies could have easily been up, which they were, but had they had someone here, just like over here, running up and to peek you, if you throw a flash that explodes right here from arch side, so you just throw it from back here down here, that's something you could do. Or here, you could throw a flash through that area before you push up. That's another thing you can do. And that's just a way to safely like get you in a more advanced position. Luckily, they weren't peeking you, so you were able to get up close here. And you're able to get this kill. Because they played it poorly, they split up. This guy who's in the site fighting you right now, Alex, he was there by himself, and his teammate that you're about to kill right now ran away. At this position here, though, you have a smoke and a flash still. I would use it in apartments or at lane side right now. Instead, you guys are just peeking around, jumping into each other, not really checking for the enemy. Luckily, the enemy peeks out at you after your teammate died. It's a one-on-one. All he has to do is hide in this position, wait for you to defuse the bomb. But he's gonna re-peek you with 8 HP, so it's an easy kill for you to get, which isn't entirely smart from him. So that was a really big misplay from him. Pre-smoking the car isn't bad. It's not the same as just smoking the choke point, because now you're actually maintaining some form of control of B. But throwing this flash here this early doesn't really do much for you, because the enemies aren't pushing through that smoke. More times than not, what the enemy is going to do with the smoke is wait it out, for one, or they'll throw a flash and go through the smoke. So if you just sit and wait for the flash to come through the smoke and then peek them, that's one of the ways to play it. But right now, again, a minute and 20 left on the clock. You've thrown your smoke, a flash, a nade. This is your last flash. Still a minute left on the clock, and all you're left with is your gun, and you're just fighting. And again, if they don't just suck, if they are able to get the trade kill on you, there's so many ifs that you're in too much of a risky position, and you're getting away with the enemy being bad and your aim being good and your reaction time being good. But you need to hang on to your smokes more often, and you need to play in safer positions, because a lot of your positions are like advanced positions where you're gonna make a play off of your flash, which isn't bad, it is good, but you need to choose when to do your battles properly or better. So what you were doing there was a lot better in terms of holding the flash out and waiting for contact. But the other thing to note is that you weren't actually, and you took a step forward and you missed your flasher, you weren't actually peeked out at that point with the flash. In the other rounds, you actually took an angle where you could see into the main area, which you don't want to do, because the terrorist can walk in and kill you. So what you did there, you were hidden behind the wall, ready to bounce the flash, which was good. Here you wait for sound, you wait to hear them coming in, and then you peek out, which I really like. If you just peek out, they might come in and peek you, but if you're not peeked out, they might come across, look at spawn briefly, see that's clear, and then turn around, look at sight, and then you peek around the corner and get the kill. So that was well played. I would have gotten the first kill and just gotten out of there. You have the 2-on-1 now. You got the advantage in your favor. But here, again, this is the angle I was talking about. They could walk out and they can kill you. Again, your teammate's doing what? Holding a smoke out. They walk in, they kill him. Like, both you and him are doing the exact same thing. One's got a smoke out, one's got a flash out. And if the enemy just walks in, you're dead. If they just pop flash, you're dead. Like, there's so many things that they could do that you're just dead. So this is not an ideal situation to be in at all. As we scan through this, I just really want to talk about pistol round on Terra's side for the end of this. So let's go over to the Terra side now. So I actually really like what you did in this pistol round here. Not the Tech 9 buy, but the fact that just your movement in general. So you know that the enemies have USPs, or should probably have USPs. So what you do is you make yourself as hard of a target to hit as possible. You're jumping around, you're jumping across the screen, you're running across the screen. You're making it a very difficult target for them to hit because now they have to like aim up at you, jumping in the sky. And that lets your teammates come around the corner and get the trade kill on this enemy. So your teammate was able to come in and he got the assist on this enemy, and the enemy is too busy like trying to aim at you that maybe he gets you, but there's no way he gets both of you just because of your movement. So it's very good movement, just running around, making it a very hard target to hit. Same thing here. What I would have done is as soon as I made contact, either just try to keep strafing that same direction and just spam your gun, or I would have, because you're with your teammates, just jump and start shooting while jumping. Make yourself a hard target for the enemy to hit, so that your teammates can ensure that trade kill. Because on Terra's side, if you just bang the trades properly, so 1-for-1 trades the entire time, it's a very good situation because you're going to outnumber the CTs when you're going to the bomb site. So let's say you have a 4-on-3 attacking A, you're going to trade it all the way down to, you know, a 1-on-1 or whatever it may be. Or, sorry, you get the last kill, so you have one person left. And then you have your teammate who's over at B. Now you're in a 2 versus 2, you can plant the bomb and win the round that way. So it's always good to get the trade kills on Terra's side, and never be afraid to be the sacrifice. Just be a team player and get the sacrifice. So here, you're just running in, you're overwhelming this guy, you're getting straight in there. At this point here, again, it comes back to first half. You're too reliant on smokes. Just fucking throw it and be done with it. Just drop it right in the corridor right here. If you underhand it right here, that's a good smoke. Your teammate's planting the bomb right now. The enemies, they have to wait it out. If they wait it out, they have 15 seconds to defuse the bomb. That's 10 seconds to get to the bomb and defuse if they have a kit, or 5 seconds to get to the bomb and start the defuse if they don't. That's how much time the smoke is going to buy you. And instead, you peek out, you see him, you freak out, you just throw it, it bounces off the wall and back in your face. And you do make a good recovery here. You do like sneak through the smoke, let him run by you and flank him, which is a good play to make in the circumstance. But the circumstance shouldn't have come up, is the main thing to point out. So I'm going to go into... I'm going to go into Inferno, and I'm going to show you a couple different things that you could try doing the next time you play. And not to say what you did was bad, it's just there are better ways to manage what you're doing. So as I start the game up, I'm going to run over to B. I'm going to give myself infinite ammo. Infinite. And this is a good way to actually come and practice your grenades yourself. I know that you have good flashes and everything, but what you do is you're doing one, sorry, not like that. You're aiming like here's lower. You're aiming like this. I don't know. Basically, when I saw you throwing it, I don't remember where you were aiming precisely, but your flash was traveling like all the way over here, and then it was like landing down here. So what you want to do, if you're a terrorist coming in, and you see a flash coming all that way there, you're just gonna back off, and you're gonna wait, and then you're gonna expect someone to peek. Or you're gonna be up here, you're gonna see it coming all the way over, and you're gonna turn, it's gonna pop off, and you're gonna turn around and kill you. So what you want to do is you want to get a flash that will do something like this, where they don't have time to react to it. So if I'm a terrorist here, and I'm seeing that, I'm not reacting to that at all. I hear it, If I hear it and I turn, cool, but people are shooting, footsteps are running, people are making communication in game or over mumble or something. I don't hear that necessarily all the time. I can't react to that at all. It just pops in my face and there's no reaction to it at all. So that's going to be a little bit better than if it's coming all the way out here. The second thing is when you're peeking out like this with a flash out, enemies can just walk in like this, which they do, and kill you. Or enemies can walk in like this and kill your teammate. And this is something that I do in matchmaking and pugs. It's something that pro teams do in tournaments. So it is something to look out for. Other things are when the enemy smokes here, you flash and then like push through like almost instantly. You cleared it, you came back, you threw another flash, and you came in and cleared it. Both off of just one smoke that they threw. That's all they did. They did this. Smoke. It blooms. You flash, you push, you peek, you clear it. You flash, you push, you peek, you clear it. Now what do you have left? What have I done? As a terrorist, I've thrown one smoke grenade and you've used everything. Now if I resmoke it, and I sit a guy here the entire time, and I have the rest of my team come in, smoke this, and push in, what are you going to do? You have nothing left. You have to just wait the smoke out and then go for gun battles, or you need to just push out and fight through the smoke. So right there, you're using everything too early, and you're not rationing, for lack of a better word. You're not rationing your grenades. So you need to ration it more. You need to understand that when it's important to use it and when you absolutely need to use it. Until then, you need to just play it more conservatively. The other thing is when you were coming up arch side and the enemy was already, like your teammates over here fighting mid, you need to come here and I would just bop a flash right there as I'm running up and then kill the guys. And then when it's down into that 2v1, just smoke off halls like that, so he can't come out the halls. Or I just smoke off lane side and just go for the bomb plant, bomb defuse just like this. He can see through that, but whatever. I liked how you got yourself into this position and threw the flash to get yourself out of the position. That was good. The other thing to note is you don't want to just like dump everything you have. So here, you threw your smoke, and then you came here and you threw your flash and you peeked out after the flash, and then you did it again. You don't need to do that. If that smoke's down, all you have to do is say, okay, what are they going to do? They're going to flash and then run through it, or they're going to wait it out. Very rarely does anyone just run through this, just dry. It doesn't happen. People wait this out. So what you could do is you could wait for that flash to pop, and then you can come and peek out, and you just hide. If they throw it, let's say they throw it, whatever, it pops, you hear it, then you peek out, or you sit here like this, you wait for it to pop, then you throw a counter flash, you wait for that to pop, and then you come and peek out. Or you can throw a counter flash like this, so you hear the flash pop, you throw this, and then you peek out, either before it pops or as it's popping. So those are different ways that you can play those positions. But again, wait for contact before you throw your smoke. So you could sit here at this angle here, wait for them to throw their smoke and their flashes. Let's say they throw their smoke, you counter smoke, and you just sit here and you just sit out here and wait. You've thrown your counter smoke. You're waiting. If they come for that smoke, they're flashing it. If you get flashed, just jump across, wait. You're unblind, bounce a flash off this wall. Now you come up and you peek out and you kill everyone who's here. So just understand that one of their smokes should not bait out an entire nade set from you. That's an ideal world for a terrorist. That's what they want to do. They want to come here, throw a smoke, let it bloom, throw a flash, and have you waste all your first nades, so that it makes it that much easier for them to actually execute later on the round. And they have a full minute to work with, where they can bait out your grenades, or after they bait out all your grenades, they can walk in, they can run in, they can do smokes and flashes and go in. It lets them do anything if you just start throwing everything really early on. So that's something that you just have to worry about and work on a little bit. Other than that, your aim looks really good. Your reaction time looks good. You are dumping on these guys, so you're doing a good job in that respect. And you do have good nade placement for the most part. All I do is focus on how you're throwing them, when you're throwing them and not rely on them too much. It seems like you're too reliant on it and you're flashing at any moment before you peek, which can be good in a lot of situations, but you don't want to be too dependent on it. And being too dependent on something isn't good. You want to be able to have a nice variety of different things that you can do. So you need to be well-rounded and not just rely on one thing. Anyways, this has been Steel doing a demo review for NetcodeGuides. Hope you enjoyed it.